And that's why I say one of the greatest obstacles to improving staff morale is you. The correctional environment is inherently negative. Dark! It has a unique way of altering a person's attitude and behaviors. And whether we want it to or not, whether we acknowledge that it can or it can't, it does! It changes the way that we think, act, and attack everyday issues. And one of our problems right now, one of our issues right now, is the decimation of officer morale. I wrote an article a while back, and I'll put a link to it in the description below. The piece is called 5 Reasons That Your Staff Wellness Program is Gonna Fail. It's a good read, you should check it out. But in this piece, I talk about the 5 things, the 5 stumbling blocks to a successful wellness program. And one of those obstacles, one of those stumbling blocks is us, is our own stubbornness, is an officer's inability to forgive for what they've been through. So here's the issue, and some of you are gonna get pissed at this perspective, but check this out. Answer this question honestly, and if you want to put it in the comments below, do so. Is there anything right now that your administration could do for you to make you happy? To alleviate some of the pressure that you're under? And be honest, is it the overtime? The policies? The lack of appreciation? The general apathy to the majority of our concerns? What would make you happy? What could they do right now for you today, if you could have it your way, that would right the ship? For me, it's all about the time that I gotta spend inside. It's the staffing. If I was able to go home when I wanted to, that would be enough for me. I believe that a lot of our anger, a lot of our animosity is directly related to us not being able to disengage, to be out of uniform, to not have to work all of the time. For me, having some semblance of a work-life balance is everything. But that's not where we're at. That's not a possibility right now. That's not really what I want to discuss because obviously it doesn't matter what I want. What matters to me, what's important to me, and what bothers me the most is this, is that the wear and tear on officers is starting to affect our interactions, the way we talk to and treat each other. We are so angry at our current situation, our administration, that we are taking it out on each other. We are lashing out at each other. We are misdirecting our emotions at each other, cannibalizing each other. We have succumbed to the pressure and it has pushed us into some sort of self-preservation mode. And that's why I say one of the greatest obstacles to improving staff morale is you, is me, is us. I'm not suggesting that our feelings are unjustified, not at all. I just feel that because we are so worn out, tired, because our coping mechanisms are no longer affected in this environment, it's making us crazy. Do you guys see this? Do you see the change in your comrades? Your correctional counterparts? Your friends? Have you witnessed? Have you watched an officer that was a go-getter decay right in front of your face? Have you seen the motivation, the dedication diminish, spiral, sending an officer into an emotional purgatory? Have you heard the difference in their opinions, their attitudes, the negativity? And then what happens? What happens with the negativity? It fucking spreads. Check out this quote from a book called The Reaper Man. Light thinks it travels faster than anything, but it's wrong. No matter how fast light travels, it finds that the darkness has always got there first and is waiting for it. No matter how fast light travels, darkness was always there, waiting. Holy crap! To me, that speaks to our morale issue. Our environment is inherently negative, dark, and I said that earlier. It has a way of clouding our vision, skewing our perspective, stamping out any light that tries to shine. The darkness, the violence, the threats, the pandemic, the impractical policies that we're forced to carry out. What about the staffing? The long and never-ending hours that we spend locked up, sequestered. How hard is it to be a light in the darkness when you're exhausted? When you feel less like an employee and more like a hostage? I'll answer that. It's mission impossible. Right, no matter how fast, how bright your light is, how positive your attitude is, it is no match for the darkness. That negativity that is lying in wait. This is not a judgment on you. None of us can maintain. None of us can keep it together forever. We all have a breaking point, and a lot of us are there. So much so that we're taking off after each other, flipping out over the tiniest things. Dr. Kevin Gilmartin, a former police officer and author of Emotional Survival for Law Enforcement, talks about officers being over-emotional about tiny changes in their routine. And one of his examples is a hat. He talks about a new chief coming in and changing the department's policy so the officers have to wear a hat. And he says that people lost their minds over it. And he talks about people quitting, threatening to quit, and being openly defiant over this hat. It is because the darkness has driven out the light and the hope, and we as officers don't know where to go. Don't know how to cope. It's just a hat. We flip out and lash out at the littlest things. At our fellow officers, at our family and our friends, our children, because we work in an environment around elements that are out of our control, around things that have wounded us, altered us. And because we fail to acknowledge that work, the environment may have something to do with our reaction, we know all too well what happens. We snap and say shitty things to those around us, those that love us, those we depend upon to survive on the inside. Because when you're surrounded by the darkness, when you've been without the light, and then you see it shine, it hurts your eyes. You repel from it. You throw the blankets up over your head to escape it. For me, it's not the darkness anymore, it's the light. Does that make sense? If you're picking up what I'm putting down, take your finger and tickle that little like button. See, it's not the darkness that's uncomfortable anymore, it's the light. It's the jovial laughter of a fellow officer on their Friday that angers me. It's not the darkness. It's the free hot dogs that are offered up by administration that piss me off. See, it's no longer the darkness that scares me. I am accustomed to it, conditioned by it. It's the light, and I'm tired of it. Because deep down, no, not even deep down, I want the light. I need the light. Folks, aren't you tired of being negative? Angry? Aren't you worn out from constantly raging against the machine? Look, there is a portion of our happiness that is in the hands of the leadership team. But just a portion. A part. Look, our light, our morale, our happiness is largely on us. Stanley Kubrick said, however vast the darkness, we must supply our own light. Meaning we have to make a conscious decision to be the light. To treat each other with respect, to allow each other a little grace, to realize that admin is not our obstacle, we are. And until we realize that we have the power to get this train back on the tracks, nothing is going to change. Look, at the end of the day, we're all we got. And if we destroy each other, if we push each other away, well, what can I say? We'll just keep going the way that we're going. We'll just keep tearing each other apart and then complain that we ain't got nobody. Guys, the darkness is always going to be there. It's part of the job. But we can push that darkness out to the peripheral if we just pull together. If we just hold on for a little bit longer. I'm going to leave you with the words of French novelist and playwright Victor Hugo. He says, even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. So just hold on, gals and guys. We're going to make it through. But you can't do it without me. And I can't do it without you. Alright guys, if you liked this video, if you found value in this video, straight punch that little like icon. Comment and share this content with anyone and everyone that you think may be interested. Subscribe and click that little bell so you're notified every time I release another video. And if you're looking for more correctional content, head on over to my Facebook page. I'll post a link in the description below so you know where to go. And don't forget to check out my books, When Home Becomes a Housing Unit and The Nothing That Never Happened, both available on Amazon. Alright guys, that's all I got. Until next time, be smart, stay safe, stay sane, and we'll talk soon.